Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jared here with another concert review. This is show 3 for Guns N' Roses Because What You Want and What You Get Are Two Completely Different Things tour. I did this on Google Translate, so please bear with me. But this was at the Taoyuan Sunlight Arena in Taoyuan, Taiwan on May 10th, 2025. Well, they did sound check a day or two before the show, and Axl actually did show up again. And one of the songs that they sound checked was Better. And there was a clip of it that came out online. And there were some people on the MyGNR forum that thought Axl sounded good on this. Do I think he sounded good? No, not at all. He wasn't being a showman. He wasn't running around, of course. He was just focusing on the vocals. But I think this is a problem some, not all, Guns N' Roses fans have. They love Axl so much, and they are kind of in denial, and they refuse to believe that he sounds bad. But I can actually understand, because I used to be one of those people, to be honest with you, a few years ago. It wasn't until my girlfriend heard some newer clips of Axl, and she kind of brought me back to reality. Now, she's not a Guns N' Roses fan. She likes the hits, but she is very honest, and she's like, he does not sound good. And that really opened my eyes and changed my perspective on it. But they did a few other songs on the soundcheck. I heard one report that they soundchecked for about 2 hours, but according to setlist.fm, they also did Thunder and Lightning, Knocking on Heaven's Door, and Welcome to the Jungle. But let's go ahead and jump right on into the show. They started off with Welcome to the Jungle, and once again, just solidifying that they're gonna be continuing to open with Welcome to the Jungle, I assume, for the rest of this tour. And by the way, this is the first time since 2018 that they played in Taiwan. And they went into Mr. Brownstone next. So this is an interesting part of the show for me, because I was wondering if they're going to go into Bad Obsession like they did the last show, but this time they definitely did go into Mr. Brownstone. Live and Let Die, the Wings cover, was next. Then they did Chinese Democracy. Then they did Bad Obsession. So they kind of flip-flopped those two. Coma, really early in the set. And they're continuing to do Coma. They're not dropping it. Then they did Perhaps, Double Talk and Jive, Better, and then Sorry. I saw one fan on the forum saying it seems like Sorry is kind of solidifying itself in the set list, and they're really trying to catch that high that they caught on the first show of the tour, where Sorry got such a great reaction by the South Korean crowd. It's So Easy, Estranged had a really kind of bad blunder in it with some technical difficulties. And I wonder if it's related to Axl's in-ear monitor. I think he's had some in-ear monitor issues on this tour in general. Not like every single song on every single show, but there have definitely been times where Axl has been behind the band like a second or two. And I wonder if that's related to the in-ear monitor. You Could Be Mine, Rocket Queen. Just to say something about You Could Be Mine. They played it for the first time last show, and it's still in there. All right, and then we're gonna, after Rocket Queen, they did New Rose, which is a cover for The Damned, which is the tour debut, Duff on lead vocals, and the first time since 2018. The song is on the Spaghetti Incident. Not one of the better songs on the Spaghetti Incident, but looks like Duff might be kind of switching up the solo spots every show, possibly. Then they did Knocking on Heaven's Door, the Bob Dylan cover, Slash guitar solo, Sweet Child of Mine, November Rain, Wichita Lineman, the Jimmy Webb cover, Patience, and then Slither, the Velvet Revolver cover. They did this one later in the set. They normally do it earlier, one of the first few songs, but they did it really late tonight. I say tonight, it was at 7 a.m. over here on the east coast of the United States in Florida, 7 p.m. over there. Then they did Absurd and Hard School, a couple of the newer songs. And then here was one of the most interesting points about the whole show. Civil War makes its tour debut, and I'm happy to see that. I was kind of worried it wouldn't be featured on this tour, but it is now. Glad they finally did it. It took 3 shows for them to finally bust that one out. So Civil War is back. And then they did Night Train, and I heard some good reviews about Night Train from people on the forum. And once again, I always follow on the MyGNR forum and watch the fan reaction, the video clips that are uploaded, the streams that people post, and they have been consistent with doing Night Train as the last song of the regular set. And then they go into the encore, and they just did 2 songs on this show. They just did Don't Cry and then Paradise City. Once again, they did 28 songs, which is about 3 hours. It's what you're gonna expect from these guys at this stage, which is very commendable considering their age. But I always thought to myself that 3 hours is a bit much, in my opinion, for their age. I think they should shorten the set a little bit and maybe pick some songs that are better suited for Axl's voice, like the more low baritone vocal songs, like Pretty Tied Up, like Bad Obsession, like Mr. Brownstone, things of that nature, you know, Patience, stuff like that, just to better suit Axl. Axl said about Sorry that this is a song about showing empathy for assholes. And once again, during this show, he said, "Nice place you got here." So 2 shows in a row, and that actually reminds me of something else. When he did the band introductions during the show, once again, he introduced Isaac Carpenter, and he made the joke about, I can't remember his name. And it's just so corny to me, to be honest with you, because Axl has a tendency on these on these shows over the last few years to like crack the same joke every single show, and it's just such a stark contrast to the shows back in the 90s where every show was so different. But now it's like he's making the same corny joke every show and doesn't speak to the crowd that much. I wanted to speak about his attire. Once again, 2 shows in a row where he kind of came out in just like a black shirt and like a chain, which I thought was interesting. Just very simple. He's got these black sunglasses that he's been wearing too. Once again, as far as the set list goes, it's pretty much the same set of songs that you're gonna get every single show so far. They're just like kind of mixed up here and there. Like I said, Slither was later in the show than it normally is. Sometimes it's earlier in the show, so it kind of just depends. But it's just the same songs, just in different order, slightly different order. And I will say, so far after these 3 shows, I'm a little disappointed with the set list, because the last tour, they came out and busted out some interesting songs from the jump. Like they had Pretty Tied Up, they had Bad Obsession, and they hadn't done those songs in a long time. They're still doing Bad Obsession, but they dropped Pretty Tied Up so far. I haven't played it once on this tour yet, but I'm just kind of disappointed they haven't done any real surprises yet on this tour. And I assume they're gonna come. Hopefully we do get a new song or 2, like Nothing or Atlas, but just a little different than the last tour where the beginning of the tour already had surprises. We haven't really had surprises yet. But once again, very standard show. Not a lot to talk about, but one other thing I did want to mention was the show artwork, which I always love how they do the show artwork on all these shows. I did think it was weird how the monster was cut off at the top, but I did also hear, in relation to the artwork and merchandise in general, that the merchandise sold out very quickly before this show started. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. Hope you can please give me some feedback on what you thought of my review, and if you went to the show, what did you think? What do you think of Axl's voice? What do you think about the set list? Please, please, please give me your feedback. I greatly appreciate it. I try to respond to every single comment, and feel free to reach out to me anytime. I have my contact information in the description of the video. So with that being said, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.